load up into Mi-17 helicopters flown by Afghans, and land in the middle of this firefight in the middle of the day, take charge of the situation, and then pull them out. I was like, wow, that sounds real dumb. So waited till the team leader got out, talked it over with him. We're like, man, this is crazy. That sounds like a really stupid idea. But we're Green Berets. That's what we do, right? So, like, all right, because if we don't do this again, the risk to mission is that the whole campaign is done. And by the way, that's also our partnered force out there. We can't just leave them there. And this is literally the only way we can do it. So that's exactly what we did. I mean, I think we landed at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And as we landed, there was daylight coming through the skin of the bird as rounds kept coming in. But as we were landing, I'm talking to the Apaches like, hey, the HLZ is clean. There's no enemy on the HLZ, so that's easy. But once the rounds started coming through the skin of the aircraft, like, this doesn't seem like a clean HLZ. So we got off the helicopter. It was just the Wild West. So we could assault 150 meters into multiple machine gun positions, or we could move back 300 meters in this open field away from the machine gun positions. We had no aircraft overhead. We're in the middle of this field, and half the Afghans didn't even have their weapons if they brought food for some, like boxes of MREs for some reason. It was wild. So the best bad decision we could make is to move forward into enemy positions. What had happened is the Apaches were on the wrong HLC, so they were like 3 kilometers away. They weren't even on the right frequency. They were, I don't remember how I got in contact with them. I think they were on my freak when they should have been on the TADS, which the freak the JTAC was on. But so we're like, screw it, we got to move this way. So as we're moving towards the enemy, my last 3 to 5 second rush, right before the only berm that's there, and rounds were coming in again. When you're getting shot at, you can hear the snap, but when they're really close, you can feel the disturbance in the air. And let me tell you, it's pretty terrifying. So as we're moving up, like, it's just, you can see all the water. It's like a irrigated field coming up. I'm like, man, these guys, they are really mad at us. The last bit, felt a snap in my right hand, and the bullet went right in between the middle knuckle and out the side, and took most of the bones out with it. And I was like, son of a bitch. And that would really hurt. And then as I get to this cover and kill position, the first time I've ever had a double feed in combat, like an actual, like, I had playing double feeds before, and a combat situation was right there where I didn't have use of my right hand. So I'm like trying to get that worked out, and I'm like bleeding into the chamber. I'm pissed. I'm like, finally look over the JTAC, and he's freaking out. He can't get a hold of the Apaches. I'm like, hey, look, the Apaches are about 5 minutes out. They were on the wrong HLZ. I'm pushing them over to your comms. Let's get some control here, because I'd freaked out about 2 seconds before that. There was so much dirt coming up, and I was like, man, I just got shot in the hand, and we're all going to die because I talked us into doing this mission, and this is stupid. And like some arrogance here is going to get us all killed. And then I snapped out of that. I was like, okay, what am I doing? Like, nah, we're unstoppable forces of nature. We're going to dominate the situation. So called the team leader. He was all the way down the line. I was like, hey, sir, I'm about to use your initials, and, at least call in some Apaches and whatnot. So I told the JTAC, hey, this is what needs to happen. The Apaches are going to be here. I need them to do X, Y, Z. And this is what needs to happen. And then what was really cool about that situation is once you got up there, I was the only one shot. All of our guys, they were like, hey, we have to keep assaulting, and pushes them like, hey, right now we need to figure out where the Afghans are, because they were supposed to be here when we landed and they ain't here, right? So let's get some AC-130 overhead first and get some fires going. Figure out where the Afghans are, because that's our primary mission, and then we can assault in and actually clear up some white space. So it was cool, like, to see all your teammates, the Green Berets, like, they're ready to go. There's no hesitation, and you see some of the helmet cam footage of what they're doing when they are assaulting into these things. You're like, man, that's crazy. Not just doing risky things to do risky things, but they're like, hey, if we don't assault into this, we're going to keep getting our asses handed to us. But actually having to pull the reins back a little bit, hey guys, a little bit of tactical patience here until we get these assets on station. We do X, Y, Z, and then that's what they did. Once that happened, they assaulted forward. We dropped some bombs, mitigated the risk from all this incoming fire, so we could move back, link up with the Afghan force, and even then, what we were dictated to do was pull them out. But then we're like, hey, what we need to do, actually, if we just pull out right now, we are going to get hammered. We need to go ahead and assault through this town and clear the enemy out of it, and then we can pull out. So they're trying to medevac me out. We got like, nope, if you bring a bird in here, it's going to get shut down. So I'm going to give up my assault element to our next senior guy. So he's going to take my assault element. The other assault element can take up position on the other side. I'll take charge of the armored convoy in the middle. So we'll come down the middle, and 2 assault elements on each side. We're going to clear through this village and at least push the enemy back far enough to where we can come back, get the trucks unstuck that have the telephone poles and stuff all wrapped around them, and move out so we can finish this campaign. And that's what we did. We cleared the enemy out, came back later that night. 160th came in and pulled us out. The Afghans drove out. And then for the next 5 days, I was medevaced out, obviously, because my hand, them and a bunch of other special forces team cleared all the other villages and cleared the enemy out of this area, Kunduz. And we took more casualties. We lost a Green Beret about 2 days later. The day after I got shot, one of our infantry uplift guys got shot through the stomach in the bird, so I was in the hospital with him. But so it was very kinetic.
Got shot through the stomach? Did it go through his plate?
It somehow, it went right below his plate and somehow missed every vital organ, and he was fine. So really weird how that worked out. But yeah, so that was my third Purple Heart